Okay, hello and welcome to the Citizen Winter Warmer. My name is Layla Josephine and I'm the school's writer in residence for the Edinburgh International Book Festival. I'm really pleased to be able to present a group of young people that are very, very talented writers. I'm lucky enough to facilitate them every week over Zoom for the last 6 weeks, and we've been writing together and learning about all sorts of different writing tools. And they're all from high schools in Edinburgh and they all have a keen interest in writing, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy every piece that they have for you this evening. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the very first writer, which is Lucy.
The Sarapalada gold mine was a large mine in Brazil that opened in 1980 and closed 6 years later. It was a chaotic operation, all done by hand, involving an estimated 100,000 people. It is now an abandoned pit that is filled with water to create a small polluted lake. The mine was most famously documented by the Brazilian photographer Sebastião Salgado. I find his photographs to be poignant depictions of the destruction our society has caused to the planet in the name of capitalism. The gold mine, Brazil, 1986. It was a place of ruin, a solid, pressing heat that seemed to choke their throats with spectral, meaty hands and wring the necks of the pits. The crowd is limbs and red faces, touching hands and hips, legs and heads. The stench of rank sweat, of stale breath, of festering life. Crude paths turn lunging legs hard. They are deities, carved of marble, of alabaster, of gold, and washed in sludge. Skin that glistens with that dirty metallic sheen of mud hogs. Slaves of the greed decade, children who dream, crawling like termites, teeming in the dirt, making their way into the vast maw of a mercenary beast, moving through the ore and out again into bright sunlight turned dull by eyes full of dust, until everything collapses, until there is nothing left. These bodies that swarm over fresh dirt turned sour, over meat that went rancid, on tongues that taste acid. We walk on dead ground, bare feet gilt with gold, on the bones of our mother.
Hi everyone, I wrote a poem about what it means to care for somebody, and it's called This Is Why I Care. When you care for somebody, it can uplift you to places beyond your imagination. To showcase that everlasting love and trust for somebody feels like the biggest blessing in the world. When your care for them is noticed, appreciated, and reciprocated, it's as if you're striking gold. It's a feeling you can't replace. It feels like a long-lost paradise. It feels like the beaming mid-July sun shining down on your face. The unbreakable connections, the explosive classroom laughs you can't contain, the memories you can recall word by word, so vivid and ingrained. Care cannot be manufactured. Every connection is one of a kind. The specific inside jokes and tiny things that make you both shine. I also care for the tears, the salty streams falling onto my bed, the nasty disagreements and disputes that never seem to leave my wandering head. I care for the times we both go silent, white noise which seems to last a lifetime, white noise which speaks oceans and oceans wide. No contact, no laughter, no memories, a low and empty tide. I even care for when you tell me exactly what I hate to hear, when your words sting like a raw wound or a vicious slap in the face. For the times we're too caught up in new people, new faces, as if we both passed our sell-by dates. Truthfully, it hurts, it stings, it bites, but who can blame us? Everybody is eager for change, new connections to care for, new compelling pathways, as living the same life forever is a dangerous game to play. You re-enter the door, like the tide reunites with the shore. Reflection makes us realize there was never resentment or despair, simply a lesson of maturity, understanding that people can't simply always be there. Sometimes our brains need a holiday, whether it be for a day or multiple months, personal space and time to breathe. We're not computers, we can't process 1,000 tasks and comments at once. So, when we both had time to untense our shoulders and clench your jaws and simply just exhale. It's as if there was never a hurdle in our path, an interruption in our tale. Yes, this is why I care, for moments just like these, the ups and downs and twists and turns and constant speed bumps down the street. Maybe caring for someone won't always uplift you beyond your imagination. Maybe you won't always find yourself striking gold, but in these tender moments, you'll find the care fails to go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my Not TED Talk. I'm going to tell you more than you will ever need to know about Kim Namjoon, RM, the leader of BTS. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. It's either, what, those Korean boys? Or if you're my mum, ugh, not again. Because yes, this is a rant that I have almost daily. In my extremely humble opinion, Namjoon is a beautiful soul. Him and the rest of BTS have managed to build themselves up from almost nothing to stadium sellouts, Grammy-nominated, world-famous artists, and Namjoon was there right at the start. They started out performing to crowds of just a couple of hundred people at most, and now they sell out Wembley Stadium in just 90 minutes, so, you know, they're kind of a big deal. He's the first member that even signed to Big Hit Entertainment, and it's because of his rapping that Jungkook joined the group in the first place. Namjoon has written and produced so many great songs. I mean, just look at his Wikipedia if you don't believe me. Not just the more upbeat pop songs that most people would know BTS for, but deeper songs too. Songs that made me cry the first time I heard them, even though I don't speak Korean, and then made me cry harder when I looked up the translations. Call me sad all you want, but for once, I'm going to talk about my feelings. Songs like Tokyo and Forever Rain, where he talks about loneliness and isolation, something I'm sure we all relate to now. Songs like Sea, where they all talk about how far they've come from all having to sleep in just one room, but how they had hope and made the mirage of success their reality. Namjoon's a brilliant speaker. He's better than me, but that isn't hard. When I saw them in London in 2018, he told us that we'd taught him how to love himself. He told us that he wanted us to use BTS, to use him as a means to love ourselves, if that's what it took. At the end of the day, the message that BTS tries to convey is a positive one. It's one about being kind to both others and yourself. Yes, it's said in another language. It's said through bright songs that some people don't like, but that message has managed to cross the language barrier and has impacted millions of people from all different walks of life. In case you haven't picked up on the very subtle hints, I think he's an incredible human being. He's the kind of person that I want to be. I know he'll never read this or hear this, but I also know that there's loads of other people who feel the same way that I do, and isn't the job of a leader to inspire people? He's doing a damn good job of it.
My poem is called Twitch, and it's about life with ASD, and more specifically, little things my body does because I have ASD. What are you? Spasms, shivers, or something more? Whatever you may be, I know you're mine. Could you be the rhythms that fill my soul, the girl I'm head over heels for, a silent cry for help, the flickers of a dormant mind, maybe, a waterfall perhaps, peaked floods of emotion that are broken into droplets of nothingness, my nothingness. Can a thing so tiny be of real significance? Can you raise your unsteady voice above the noise you lie beneath, like a neon sign carrying from its own shadow, my contradiction? Fragments of my head and heart weeping onto the floor, and yet the carpet remains white. My defenses are broken, an iron door so heavily fortified on its hinges. Deep down, I think I'm scared that you slip through the cracks. What place is there for you in this world? My weakness. But where would I be without you? Half a brain, half a pulse, half a boy. There's comfort knowing you are me, and I am you, my everything.
I wrote a poem about happiness. I haven't actually named it, but I guess we can call it I Am Happy. So anyways, I am happy. Well, not in the sense of unicorns, daisies and rainbows, but I am happy. I'm alive, breathing and snacking on a Tesco triple chocolate muffin, enjoying the small things in life. I'm happy. Well, not the dictionary definition of happy, but I am happy. I definitely do not have my life sorted out, like the 1000 puzzle piece I started in the summer. now buried back in its box under a pile of board games. I don't think I'll ever finish it, but I tried and I'm happy. I am happy. Well, not as happy as I seem. I can stick a smile on my face, but I don't wear it proudly as I used to. If I'm honest, I'm actually quite exhausted and I haven't touched a pair of trainers in over a year. I never really enjoyed physical education, and sports weren't exactly made for people who wear glasses, so I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore. I'm happy, but sometimes I may not look like it. I'll make excuses like I'm tired, or I didn't have my coffee, but the truth is, I haven't drank coffee in over 2 years. It tastes so bitter, like an unwanted goodbye, and I don't know if I'll ever. I don't even know how I used to drink it, but I'm glad I tried it, even though I'm more of a tea person now. I'm happy, and if happiness is blasting your favourite song at full volume with your earphones on at 1 a.m. on a school night, then I am very happy. If it's eating pastries on a sunny afternoon from the Italian pastry shop your dad found in Edinburgh, or wearing the yellow jumper your mum bought for your birthday, then I am happy. If it's the overwhelming feeling you get in your chest when someone tells you that they are proud of you, then I am happy. I'm happy, I promise. I'll be happier too. I just need time to think, rest, rearrange everything, and maybe organise my candles. I have too many of them anyways.
Hi, my name's Emman, and my piece is called Icarus's Car. Freedom. The taste of the world swirls around my mouth with an unfamiliar fragility. I try to flesh it out in my head, try to get a grasp of the elegant utopian world it promises. If it were a place, does anyone live there? Do I have it in me to truly imagine what it is, or is it a concept beyond my reach? Do I need to live brashly, untamed, dauntless, and open? If I become that, will I truly experience freedom in its entirety? What does it taste like? Questions swim around along with the strange fear of missing out. The more I ponder on the word, the more I am convinced that such a thing doesn't exist. I imagine it to be like the hawk. It soars high, perfect, its upturned beak looking down at the rest of us, fastened to the ground, green with envy. I'm sitting in the back of our Golf, the smaller, more inferior make of the cars here, though confident in its capabilities, considering whether hawks really care about the smelly, shiny metal boxes zooming over land in neat lines. They certainly don't consider the brand of mouse, or refuse a rare cut of lizard if it's missing a leg. Or maybe they do. Perhaps the reason for their impressive drop dives is to maximize this chance of scoring that well-sized grade A package of juicy meat, as opposed to the skinny runt to the left of it. That tenacious ferocity, skill and precision, all to select the optimum flank. I suppress the natural urge to appreciate my humor. Optimum flank. I stare at the confused, shadowy outline of figures sliding past my window, an obscured ocean of white and grey. The ride back home is silent, an unspoken mutual understanding that conversations are unnecessary. That is the mutual agreement, the tacit rule that those precious few minutes in the car are our own to breathe, to recalculate, to reprogram. I reach up to the window. I pull up my coat sleeve and wipe the surface, wincing at the low droning that interrupts the heavy silence. The water seeps into my jacket, mottling the dry material. From a powdery grey, it is blotted like black ink on its steely surface. I note the coldness against my wrist. On a regular day, I would fold up a section of my sleeve to avoid feeling the wet fabric, but something about today makes me change my mind. The shadowy outlines become rosy-cheeked figures, undeniably pale and porcelain, heads down, walking in sinister uniformity. A silent crowd of perfectly rigid faces, interlocking and moving systematically. Still, I see them. Telltale moments, the rhythmic thrumming of leather-tipped shoes, an unintentional brushing of shoulders, the instantaneous, anxious, apologetic looks. a menial collision, yet capable of bringing strangers to perform awkward hand gestures and exchange clamped smiles before they part and continue their days. I doubt either of them would remember it in 10 minutes. Governed by social custom and anxiety, we walk on eggshells. And I understand this world. Life is the way it is in order to prevent chaos, an unregulated wilderness. But that sacrifice took away the freedom to feel, and I can't help but feel an emptiness close to home. A red stone building comes into view as we turn another corner, the old hospital ward. Families exit overflowing with worry. As a child visiting relatives, it baffled me how clean and kempt the corridors were. The hospital, the walls are painted blue, the floors lily white, each room compartments of the building fitted with their own beds, sinks and bins. But despite the intense atmosphere, this place, the chalky bricks and the lichen roof, is a house caring for whole worlds, for countless people. Feelings of immense joy, confusion, love, sorrow, and furious anger grow here more than any other place. I suppose this is why people hate the hospital. It is an atmosphere in which people's emotions are uncontrollably heightened. Even walking through the wards, I passed each room, glimpsing at the resting bodies or catching eyes with a patient, and it took me a moment to realize that each room was a person's whole life until they left. They would live there, subconsciously memorizing the distinct pattern on the ceilings, the specific sounds outside their windows. Every detail would be their life for some time, but to me, all the rooms were the same. What were they all thinking? The walls separate patients from the rest of the world, a whole existence living in sickness, hidden away. But on the outside, like everywhere else, it's just a red building. The sun's rays paint my skin, then as the car turns again above my head, splatters of orange and yellow bouncing around against the silence. It baffles me, the synchrony that nature has found within itself. How was this parallel perfection and streamlined regularity of Earth created? Boundless by time and imperfection, existence itself has always found a way to rebalance. Surely without balance, everything would be out of order. The world's order, Mother Nature's freedom to fix herself, is an example of peace, I think, that humanity strives so hard to achieve. How strange that humanity lives on a planet that is shaped by order and time, and yet not a single soul has lost the adolescent chaos we inherit after the innocence of childhood. I suppose in that way we are not free. I suppose with every want and every need comes a price that we are unable to pay as beings of choice and emotion. When you become an adult, your sorrows are somehow more sorrowful and your joys matter so much more. But the cries of a baby will never be heard from the throat of an adult, as does the rawness of emotion become so much more difficult to attain as the years plow on. The whistling rows of houses slowly become more distinct as the car slows down to a halt in front of our house. I leave my heavy bag fastened to my shoulder and look up at my house. It joined a collection of terrace houses with small patios filled with flintstones and small plants. Albeit old, it is special. It is the place I grew and continue to grow up in. So I shall do what I must and be grateful for it all, the love and the pain. In the end, the comfort of home is an irreplaceable, inexplicable luxury.
Wow, I mean, I see them every week, but still, they never fail to impress me. I'm also super jealous of them all because there is no way that I could write like that when I was their age. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for them and what other writing that they're going to do in the future. They're at a really exciting time in their lives where they're all just deciding what they want to do, and I hope lots of them realise that they're very talented at writing and take it forward. That's us finished for this evening. Our citizen work continues all year. Check out our blog On the Road, which is on the Book Festival website, and you'll see more from us in the future.